Good morning, my name's Owen.
I'm Harrison.
And today we're doing the Mersey Coastal Way walk. So today's a lovely walk. It's our first lockdown walk, and it's the Mersea Island Coastal Way walk. So effectively it's our first proper coastal way walk since Arran 2 years ago now, and we're going to be walking the whole way around the island. I'll show you a map in a sec, but I just wanted to put a little spotlight on where we are at the moment. So we've started the walk at Cudmore Grove, which is in the northeast side of Mersey, and it's really lovely here, beautiful nature reserve. But anyway, it's enough of me rambling on. Here's a quick video about our route today. Today's walk is an easy and short walk covering 20.6 kilometres around Mersey Island, starting at Cudmore Grove, then heading out to Broadfleet, then Mayday's Farm, the Strood, West Mersey shipyards, West Mersey beach huts, and then all the way back to Cudmore Grove. The first leg, out to Broadfleet, covers 3.5 kilometres. The second leg to Mayday's Farm is another 3.5 kilometres. The third leg to the Strood is 2 kilometres. The fourth leg to the West Mersey shipyards is 3 kilometres in distance. The fifth leg to the West Mersey beach huts is another 3 kilometres. And then the final leg all the way back to Cudmore Grove is 5 kilometres in distance. So now you've got a bit of an idea as to the route we're taking today. You can see it truly is a coastal way walk. We're not messing around here. But we're just walking with Brightling Sea in front of us and Cudmore Grove behind us along the sea wall here. It is a gorgeous morning, really lovely, nice calm seas. We've got all the migrated birds down here in the salt marsh. It's just absolutely stunning. But where we are, I'll just show you behind us, is the old site of an old Tudor fort, and it was here to defend the River Colne from any continental invasions. There's no remnants of it left now, but obviously, you know, in the Tudor times it would have been quite the thing to see. A bit formidable if you were an invading force. Steer clear of Mersey, I say. But yeah, certainly not today. We're going to be all over this island. Anyway, we'll see you in a bit. So we've made our way to Broadfleet, which is basically our first checkpoint of the walk after leaving Cudmore Grove. It's just a little inlet of water from the Colne estuary. It's nice to be here really and have a little bit of a place to talk. It's nice and quiet. We're out of the sea breeze as well, so just a nice bit of fresh air. We just wanted to sort of clear the air, because I'm sure a lot of you are wondering. It's the first walk of lockdown. So we're maintaining social distancing all day, maintaining absolute responsibility of everything we're doing, sticking to the country code, and we're just sort of, you know, just exercise and enjoying ourselves, clearing our mind. We've both been stuck indoors for the last month or so. I mean, we were in tier 4 before going into lockdown as well, so it's not been very easy for us, but we've kept on getting out, exercising, enjoying the countryside, keeping ourselves busy. Which is all good stuff for the mind as well. Yeah, it's just nice to clear our thoughts on a nice day like today. But yeah, how have you found lockdown so far, Harrison?
Yeah, not too bad, not been great, but just taking each day as it comes, just getting on with it really.
Yeah, it's certainly not great. Sentiment shared here, but we're out here doing something positive, something productive, something creative, and yeah, we'll keep up the positive spirit, and hopefully that'll boost us towards our next walk. So yeah, we're gonna get walking again, and we'll catch up with you in a little bit. So we've just made our way to Mayday Farm, which is our next checkpoint on the walk. There's nothing of extreme significant importance about Mayday Farm itself, but it's more what's behind us. As we've been walking along the seawall here, we've been gradually making our way inland just a little bit more, and submerging ourselves into the countryside of salt marsh. Salt marshes in the UK are massively important. It has some of the most delicate wildlife, and it needs extremely precise conditions, obviously salt water, to exist. All sorts of birds migrate here during the winter from Iceland, and it's just, you know, it's got the perfect mud flats as well for the birds to be able to pick all these little creatures like worms out. But yeah, we're doing quite well for time. I think we've just about done an hour and 20 minutes of walking. How are we looking for stats, Harrison?
Yeah, so yeah, like you said, almost an hour and a half mark, and about 4.2 miles we've done so far. So not quite much high, because obviously Mersey's flat, but yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So we're going to head on. Next stop's at the Strood. For anyone who's familiar with the area, the Strood's pretty famous. But anyway, we're going to go over there, and we'll see you in a bit. So we're at our next checkpoint. Harrison's just a bit further on ahead walking. It's been a nice quiet day today walking along actually. We've not seen many people, which is really nice. So where we are is just slightly west of the Strood. I know we said on the map that we were going to stop at the Strood, but it's just busy with all the cars around, and it's not really very safe to just sort of sit there and have a chat with you. So we've walked on a bit further to the west, and we're just walking along some of these lovely oyster farms here along the coast in the mud flats. And yeah, so the Strood is actually really famous. It's because basically Mersey is the most easternly inhabited island in the UK, it's obviously disconnected from the land, and the only way to get across from the mainland is across the Strood. So you've got one big long straight road across, and obviously when the tide comes in, it covers over the road, and then you can't get across to the island on high tide. So we've actually had some quite creative solutions to that recently, with Domino's Pizza coming up with the idea of having a hovercraft so they can deliver hot pizzas to Mersey even when the tide's up. You'd be a bit sort of underwhelmed if you ordered a pizza and it was being delivered and then it was sat on the other side on the mainland getting cold, waiting to come across. Quite an impressive idea, really. But you know, you always see on the news when there's a high tide, all the cars getting stuck trying to cross, and the fire brigade have to come out, or the RLNI have to come out and try and fish people out of their submerged cars. It's funny as hell, but it's not really very safe. Also, it's got quite a bit of history as well. Obviously, Mersey was one of the first things the Romans would have seen when they came across on their invasion of Britain, because obviously they came up the River Colne by accident, thinking they were a bit further south than they were, and it used to be an old Roman retirement island for the centurions to come to. If they didn't want to go back to the continent, they could just stay here on Mersey. But slightly further inland, there's a little tumulus burial mound, and it's got Saxon remains in it, but also Roman remains. And there's an old myth on the island that every now and again the ghost of a Roman centurion patrols up and down the road across the Strood, and it wasn't until many years later the tumulus was discovered. They found Roman remains in there that they thought, hey, there might actually be some sort of a connection here. Obviously it's just a myth. I mean, I've never seen it myself, but it's just a funny little local story. But anyway, we're heading on now towards West Mersey. Got this lovely stretch up along the seawall here, and we'll check in with you when we get there. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we just made our way up to the shipyard. Really beautiful walkover. It's quite busy here in the village, so trying to keep our distance from people is difficult, but as with most things during all of this, it's difficult, but we're going to make it work, and we're going to be sensible and just make sure we're nice and careful. So yeah, we're going to head up into the village a bit, try and get down to the beach to walk along the seafront. But our next stop is the beach huts, and there's a really beautiful stretch of walk here along West Mersey, so we're going to try and get you as much beautiful views as we can. But yeah, as far as we're concerned, we're happy, we're all doing well, fit and healthy, so we're going to keep heading on, and we'll see you in a bit. So as you've just seen, we've made our way to the Mersey beach huts, and as I promised, the views didn't disappoint. It's been a lovely walk over along the beach, nice golden sand, and it's just come up from Bradwell Bay at the Dengie Nature Reserve. We have done a walk there before a while ago, and we did do a walking video a while ago, but that's our reserve video. We're not going to release it until, you know, there's a rainy day and we can't get out, or there's a big long gap in which we can't get out and make videos. That's just our reserve video. But yeah, we've all the cockle shells are basically collected over there, and any that aren't collected by the Dengie Spit obviously end up here. Anyone who knows Mersey or knows Colchester or a bit about Roman history knows that the Romans absolutely loved Colchester and the Colne Estuary because it was so rich in oysters. They loved their oysters. So they'd collect up all the oysters, and if you go around Colchester and you have a look at some of the old Roman buildings, you'll actually see that when the builders were building these buildings, they would be eating oysters and then they'd just toss the shells off, and they'd end up in the building material as parts of the cement and stuff like that. So if you look at sections of the Roman wall along the castle, you'll actually see oyster shells, and that's just an interesting little fact about that. But yeah, Mersey's absolutely famous for all of its oyster farming and all of the cockle shells and stuff like that. So yeah, really fascinating little bit of the walk there. In terms of distance, how are we doing, Harrison? We've got Harrison over here.
Yeah.
How are we doing for stats?
Approaching the 10-mile mark in 4 hours walking, so not doing too bad.
That's quite good, really, isn't it? But yeah, how are you finding the walk at the moment, Harrison?
It's good. There's got lots of different terrain, gone from sandy beaches to muddy sort of salt marsh edges to a bit of footpath, so a bit of everything. Nice mixture. Yeah,
definitely. And it might look a bit deceptive over the camera, but this is actually the middle of winter. It is, oh, I don't have a date check. What's the date, Harrison?
I have no idea.
We don't know what the date is. That's how,
I think.
Something like that. That's how well our lockdown's going. We've actually lost track of what day it is, but yeah, it's the middle of winter and it feels like late spring. It's pretty crazy, but we're just soaking in the rays, having good fun, walking around the island. But yeah, we're going to head on now. Our next stop will be back up at around Cudmore Grove, so we're going to head up there and we'll see you in a bit. So I know we've got the sun behind us. It's going to cause a bit of a silhouette over my face, but never mind. Where we are at the moment is the cliffs up at Cudmore Grove, so pretty much where we started this morning. And we've got all the trees to the left of us. If you have a look at the trees, you can see the roots popping out the bottom, and that's because here there's a red crag layer of rock on the top and clay on the bottom, and the clay ends up eroding, slumping, and it causes all the trees on the top to fall down and the roots to protrude from the cliff. These are some of the fastest eroding cliffs in the whole of the UK, matched with the exact same geological makeup as over at Walton. And Walton is incredibly famous for all of its coastal erosion. But yeah, we've got something else interesting coming up in a minute, which we'll just show you in a second. So another thing of interest, which you'll see, is the Eastern Command Line. Now over our walks we've seen quite a lot of the Eastern Command Line, and what it was basically a whole load of Second World War defences that were put in place to stop a potential invasion of the Nazis during the Second World War. So if say for example the Nazis managed to land down in Dover, and they were trying to make their way up the coast to dominate the UK, they would have to make their way through several command lines. And this one was known as the Eastern Command Line. And that's why along the Essex coast you see an absolute ton of pillboxes, especially here in Mersey. But we've also seen them along the Essex Way during our Essex Way walk, which we did last summer. But obviously having it along the coast is really important, because the obvious point of attack would be Dover. If that's the obvious point of attack, then you have to obviously think, well, if they were to go for a surprise attack, say the exact tactic we used on Normandy, where the Germans thought, well, they're far more likely to come over to Calais, there's just as equal a possible chance that they could take an attack somewhere here like the Colne, or even further up by Norfolk or Lincolnshire. So they had to take those measures and put them in place, just so that if there was an attack, they had all their areas covered. So we're pretty much back at Cudmore Grove now. We're just going to head up onto the grass and just finish up there. So we'll see you in a bit. Right, so that wraps up today's video. It's been a lovely walk today, all the way around Mersey. Have you enjoyed it, Harrison?
Yeah, it's been a great one. Enjoyed it, good one.
Yeah, we found this lovely handy Type 22 bunker just to sit and give an outro on. Probably our best outro yet, to be fair. So, but yeah, really happy. How are we doing for stats, Harrison? You got a stat check there?
Yeah, so it was 13 miles in the end, and it took us about 5 hours.
That's really good going. So yeah, we're going to leave it here. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you want to see some more videos, we'll leave some at the end of the video for you to watch. And yeah, you know, we'll see you on the next walk. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please press the like button to let us know how much you enjoyed it. If you'd like to subscribe to watch future videos like this, please press the button down here on the right. If you'd like to watch our previous challenge, please press the playlist up here on the right. And if you'd like to watch our most recent upload, please press the button up here on the left.